How you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today I'm going to take a look at Rom the Space Knight. This is an interesting comic, as it was a Mattel or a Hasbro toy, I forget which, and they pitched it as a comic book. And this is one of the few cases, this and Micronauts, where a toy pitch became an excellent comic. It looks kind of hokey, but look at that corner box. And I don't know why they did this. For a long time, I thought this was the guy I bought it from, but it looks like it was like that in all the comics. I don't know why. So this cover was drawn by Frank Miller and inked by Joe Rubinstein. And Frank Miller, living legend. Joe Rubinstein, solid Marvel inker. So I'm not even going to hazard a guess as to the year, because I know I'm going to forget. Here's the Fun Factory. We've seen this ad a billion times if you've been following my videos. So let's take a look here. Copyright 1979, December 1979 issue. Okay. Writer Bill Mantlo, Sal Buscema artist, Tom Orzechowski letterer, Bob Sharon colorist, Joe Duffy editor, and Jim Shooter, editor-in-chief. Joe Duffy, I just want to point out, is a woman, so all of you who are saying that there's never been women in comics couldn't be more wrong. So look at this splash page. This splash page was like a part of the pitch for the Rom comic. So here he's just falling to the earth like a meteorite and just explodes out. Arrival, Rom. So Rom, for those of you who don't know, was a toy made by Mattel, or geez, I have to look it up. It was I forget if it was Hasbro or Mattel. Parker Brothers. I just looked it up. Sorry about the long. So Parker Brothers. I was completely wrong. So here he is, Rom's landing in the highway, and this is Brandy Clark. She swerves to miss him, and he saves her. And then he whips out this. He had this ability that like these guns would appear, and the toy had these different weapons. And look at this, it just glows, and she's like, "Don't kill me, don't kill me!" And he scans her, and I'm unharmed. He didn't do anything to me. So Rom just fires off his back jets and flies away, leaving her to wonder what just happened. What just happened? So here's a nice town. The creature from space is playing, and nice little American town. And here we have the bubble gum fighter ad that we've seen a million times. And here's Rom just shows up in the middle of town with this gun, and he just takes it out and he starts shooting everybody. And these guys are up to no good, and the gun changes into another thing, and he just blasts them. And look, it leaves ashes. He was like, "There's no telling who the killer. Run, get off the streets. Nobody's safe from him." Note that Rom didn't say anything. Shriek, shriek. So I just like saying the sound effects out loud. So look at this ad. Football. What is this? ABC Saturday mornings. A lot of superheroes. So we got the Super Friends with Jan and Jace, Plastic Man. Mighty Man and Yuck, the world's ugliest dog. He would take off. Mighty Man was tiny, like a mite. And Yuck would take that doghouse off, and people would see him. And you never saw his face, but it was just like, oh, people would like get disgusted and puke and pass out. The Rickety Rocket and Fang Face, and introducing, I forget the baby's name, but he was a werewolf. And they were like a fat guy and a skinny guy, and you showed the fat guy even just a picture of the moon, and he would turn into Fang Face and just attack everything. And Baby Fang or something like that. And everybody's favorite Scrappy Doo. And the Spider Woman in a brand new show. I have no recollection of this. None whatsoever. So Brandy Clark is like, what did you just do? You just murdered people. She's like, what do you want of me? I crashed in the road. Stay away from me. She's terrified. Can you blame her? I mean, that was pretty horrific. Just blasting those people, leaving ashes. There's the mayor calling out the police, the switchboard. They call in the Pentagon, and the face in shadows like, we got to do something about this. So how come you killed them? How come you didn't kill me? Oh, there's a piece of crust. What the? Look at that. Oh, it just fell off. Jeez, what was that? So Rom is like, so now he has a third mechanism. And the toy Rom had all three of these. Do not fear me. The translator enables us to communicate. So now he could communicate. Those I neutralized were not humans. So he goes, listen, woman of Earth, and perhaps you will understand after I tell what? Rubber masks. Kiss makeup kit. The Hulk bank. Stamp heads. What is this? Oh, model cars. The Legend of the Space Knights. Now, Rom is owned by Parker Brothers, so the licensing ran out. So now whenever they refer to Rom or the events of this company, they say the Space Knight. Because I think Marvel took the trademark of Space Knight. Rom only took the name Rom. Or Parker Brothers only took the name Rom. So they never say Rom anymore. They just say the Space Knight, which I guess is a better name. So the Space Knights, what planet were they from? The Galadorians. It's the Galador. And the Galador expanded too far, too fast, and they met these shadowy beings. You know, such a trope. And the shadowy beings attacked, and they all seemed to merge into one gigantic Darkwing or Deathwing. The messenger blacked out the skies, and he attacked them. Oh, more Saturday morning cartoons. What channel is this? Wowie Zowie, good looking good. Oh, CBS. Mighty Mouse and Heckle and Jekyll. Bugs Bunny Roadrunner. Popeye Hour. Fat Albert. I don't know why Fat Albert's not on TV anymore. Can anybody give me any reason, just any slight reason why Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids wouldn't be on TV anymore? Jason of Star Command. This was terrible. I loved it. Tarzan, Batman, and the Freedom Force. Oh, I think I vaguely remember that. And 30 minutes of the news, because that's what children want on Saturday mornings. So they want the news. So this Deathwing attacked them and just like drained them all their life. And the Emperor of the Galador said, we need to change our tactics if we are to deal with these. And they ended up being called Dire Wraths, that race of beings. And Dire Wraths were like these shape-changing, horrible things. And they would, almost like Alien, their tongues would pop out of their mouth and just stab you in the forehead. And then as you would shrivel up and die, they would assume your form. So it's classic, panic terror that you never knew if you could trust your neighbor, stuff like that. So what Rom did is he's one of the only beings that analyzer can analyze everything about you and figure out if you're a dire wraith in disguise. And I always thought it was funny. He doesn't kill you. He neutralizes you. He banishes you to limbo. And but for all intents and purposes, you're dead, right? So all of these people are volunteering to become Space Knights. And there's Rom. That's what Rom looked like in his human form. And they underwent these horrible changes and cybernetic implants. So now they're basically trapped into these armor. So they lost their humanity. So Rom is another Pinocchio. Pinocchio being a human who lost his humanity and wants to become human again. So that's another thing that Rom's always trying to do is restore his lost humanity. So here's the Dire Wraths planet. The Go Deathwing, destroy the Space Knights. So Rom, because of his goodness of his heart and his humanity, was able to he couldn't kill the Deathwing, but he beat it and defeated it for a while. So I had to reform and regenerate. Hail Rom, the greatest of the Space Knights, because he beat the Deathwing. So they killed, what were they called them? Dire Wraiths. So this Dire Wraith turned into a bird and turned into a human. And look, he blasts them, and there's always this like ring where they go to limbo. Because he doesn't kill them. He just destroys their bodies, vaporizes, turns into ash, and they never return. Just how does he know they go to limbo? So this armor is like adamantium or whatever, so the bullets don't affect it. Here comes the military. And he's going to analyze them all. My energy analyzer shall soon reveal the truth. I don't know why that was so difficult for me to say. That weapon, it's a death ray. We don't know what it is, so they're freaking out. And wouldn't you? Here's drawings of the posters. Baseball cards, trading cards. And now they're just attacking. And Rom just comes up and smashes their tanks. Notice he's not firing them with his neutralizer because these are humans. And I don't blame the humans. You know, Rom comes out and just starts murdering people. Unfortunately, the people in the town didn't know that they were dire wraiths, so it just looked like he just brutally killed them. So he has a flamethrower, and Rom's like, I walk through stars, you can't hurt me. Smashing tanks, patoom, karoom, machine guns. Rom's just smashing stuff. But notice he's not hurting any people. This is the very first Marvel comic with the Human Torch. The Micronauts are on sale monthly. And this is Bolton's. This is Stan's soapbox. He would write like a little article every month, and then the rest of this is in-house news. That's the kind of stuff I never paid attention to as a kid. Oh, I got spoiled already, but Spider-Man did the right thing. He used Twinkies. He used Twinkies to beat June Jitsu. Yeah, that'll work today. June Jitsu will totally work today. She should be in her own comic. So this guy pulled out a funky ray that goes Zark, and it hurts Rom. He's like, what the? So now he pulls out his neutralizer, and look, just blast this guy. His body's just, yeah, but he's not dead. I just find that to be funny. He just like destroys their form and leaves smoking ash, and people are horrified. So she's like, we got to show people the alien. The other guy grabs the alien and he zaps, and look, you're supposed to tell me these people aren't dead when they leave smoking remains. And this sinister lady's like, oh, I gotta warn the high command. So Rom flies away and like, whatever. So she's like, oh my God, so she's the only one who believes him. And now this shadowy figure in the Pentagon is like, okay, message received. And she transforms into a bird and flies away. By love betrayed. So I went through that pretty quick because I feel like my videos have been getting longer and longer and longer. Okay, if I didn't have to look it up, I could have just, this is the actual like trade ad, Parker Brothers, Rom the Space Knight. So Rom comes with the energy analyzer, the translator, and then the neutralizer gun. So that's what the Parker Brothers came up with, and Marvel had to come up with reasons to put them in the comic. So I know this didn't look like anything great. Oh, I did the ads, but it got better and better. It is a really good comic, and I think it's a hokey concept. It's a hokey premise. It's based on a toy with like no imagination. The toy, I never thought it was a great toy. It barely moved. It had low articulation, but you got some Marvel talent. These people, these ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me, these ladies and gentlemen have some imagination. And they made a good comic out of it. And they played up the fact that these people, these bad guys, the dire wraiths, were shape-shifting aliens, and they played up the paranoia. They played up that the horrific way that they were killed really scared people. And Rom, it took a long time. Like the Fantastic Four went after him and stuff like that. He even like encountered Doctor Strange, and for a while it was tied with the X-Men. The dire wraiths became X-Men villains for a while, and then when that kind of got played out and he had the upper hand and he was like just neutralizing all the dire wraiths, and it was like understood that the threat was eliminated, they upped the stakes. Then you find out that the female dire wraiths, they're even worse. They not only do they have this shape-changing murder ability, but they're also sorceresses. So they use this arcane dire wraith horrible magic, and the stakes. So the world is safe from the dire wraiths, and then it just gets worse again. Oh man, it was a good comic. I'm trying to think of how many issues it actually ran. I can't remember how many issues it ran, but yeah, I think it was like 33 issues. I'm just going to say 33 issues in an annual. I'm probably wrong, though. But about that. And they brought back a second volume, but I think they called it the Space Knights because they had lost the licensing. And then Image Comics made a Rom series, but it had nothing to do with Marvel. They just remember Parker Brothers owned Rom and the name and the concept. and then they licensed it out to Image Comics, and I don't think it went too far. I didn't get it too. I got the first 5 or 6 issues out of nostalgia, but I don't know if it went on after that. But that's Rom. You know, it's a good series. You know, if for 1979, I loved it. I thought it was really good. I keep talking about I bought a bunch of comics that disappeared. So my Rom comics, I don't know what happened to them. They disappeared along with like at least one full long box of my early collection disappeared. And I bought this, you know, because it's in really good condition. And I bought like on eBay like a complete Rom collection. And then I reread it. This was only about 6 or 7 years ago. I reread the entire thing, and there's some hokey issues, but overall, it is a good, solid, fun comic. Like I could see this being a series on the Sci-Fi Network. So, you know, if you really, really like comics and you got a couple of dollars and you can find a full run for cheap, yeah, go ahead. You know, it's you know, it's not Shakespeare. It's nothing great, but it's good bubblegum. It's a good popcorn comic. There you go. It's a lot of fun. So thanks a lot, everybody. Rom the Space Knight. You know, it shouldn't have worked, but it did. So that's what I'm going to say. It shouldn't have worked, but it did. So thanks a lot. Thank you for your time, everybody. I appreciate it, and hope you have a good rest of the summer. This summer going fast. All right. Bye bye. See you around.